wake up every day with potential. But most people never use it. They wait, they hesitate, they tell themselves, "I'll start tomorrow." But tomorrow is a lie you keep telling yourself, so you don't have to act today. And that is why most people stay exactly where they are, stuck, not because they lack talent, but because they lack discipline. Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear can change the entire direction of your life. Discipline is not motivation. Motivation is weak. It comes and goes like the wind. One day you feel unstoppable. The next day, you feel nothing. And when that feeling disappears, so does your progress. That's why most people fail. They rely on how they feel instead of what they must do. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It moves, even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. Think about this. There are two versions of you, the one who talks and the one who acts, the one who dreams and the one who executes. Most people spend their lives strengthening the wrong version. They talk about goals, they imagine success, they plan and plan and plan, but they never move. The unstoppable version of you is built in silence, in repetition, in the small choices nobody sees, waking up when it's uncomfortable, working when you're tired, continuing when you feel like quitting. Because discipline is not one big decision, it's 1,000 small ones. Every single day, you don't become unstoppable overnight. You become unstoppable when you stop negotiating with weakness. Let's be honest, you already know what you need to do. You know the habits you should build. You know the distractions you should remove. You know the excuses you keep making. So the real question is not what to do. The real question is, why are you still not doing it? Excuses feel safe. They protect your ego. They give you comfort, but they also destroy your future. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you are choosing a weaker version of yourself. Every time you avoid discomfort, you are training your mind to quit. And every time you quit, you make it easier to quit again. This is how people become average, not by one big failure, but by small daily surrender. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine a version of you who does what must be done, no matter what. No excuses, no delays, no negotiations. That version of you exists, but it's buried under habits you've repeated for years. And the only way to uncover it is through discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it's power. It gives you control over your actions, even when your mind is weak, because your mind will betray you. It will tell you to rest when you should work. It will tell you to quit when you should continue. It will tell you it's too hard, too late, too much. But discipline cuts through all of that. It says, "I don't care what you feel. We move." That is how you become unstoppable. Understand this clearly. Success is not built on talent. Talent gives you an advantage, but discipline gives you results. There are people less talented than you who are winning, not because they're better, but because they're more consistent. Consistency beats intensity every time. You don't need to go all in for one day. You need to show up every day, even when it's boring, even when it's repetitive, even when no one is watching. Because that's where the real growth happens. Not in the moments of excitement, but in the moments of resistance, when everything in you says, "Stop," and you say, "Continue." That moment is where you separate yourself from everyone else. Let's go deeper. Discipline is not just about action, it's about identity. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. If your system is weak, your life will be weak. If your habits are inconsistent, your results will be inconsistent. So stop focusing only on outcomes. Focus on who you are becoming. Ask yourself, am I someone who finishes what I start? Am I someone who keeps promises to myself? Am I someone who shows up no matter what? Because every time you act with discipline, you are answering those questions. And over time, those answers become your identity. You don't try to be disciplined. You become the kind of person who is disciplined. And once that happens, everything changes. You stop chasing motivation. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop depending on how you feel. You just do the work, day after day, step by step. That's what makes you unstoppable. Now here's the truth most people avoid. Discipline is hard. It's uncomfortable. It requires sacrifice. You will have to give up distractions. You will have to say no to things that don't matter. You will have to face resistance again and again. But the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. Regret stays with you. It follows you for years. It reminds you of what you could have been. Discipline, on the other hand, frees you. It builds confidence. It creates progress. It gives you control. And control is the foundation of power. Because when you control your actions, you control your future. No one can stop a person who refuses to stop themselves. Think about that. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need discipline. Start small. That's how it begins. Wake up when you say you will. Do the task you've been avoiding. Finish what you started. Remove one distraction. Simple actions, repeated daily. That's how you build momentum. And momentum is dangerous, because once you have it, you become hard to stop. You don't think about quitting. You don't question your path. You just move forward. That's the mindset. Not emotional, not dependent, not fragile. Stable, focused, unbreakable. You become someone who doesn't need external pressure, because your internal standard is higher. You don't wait for someone to push you. You push yourself every day, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because that's the point. Anyone can act when it's easy, but only a few can act when it's difficult. And those few are the ones who win. So where does that leave you? Right here, right now, with a choice. You can continue living the same way, making the same excuses, getting the same results. Or you can decide that today is different. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. You can decide that you are done being controlled by your feelings, done being distracted, done being inconsistent. You can decide to become disciplined. Not perfectly, but consistently. Because perfection is not required. Action is. And once you take action, everything begins to shift. Your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, your standards rise. You start respecting yourself. And that changes everything, because when you respect yourself, you stop settling, you stop quitting, you stop making excuses, you start becoming unstoppable. So here's your challenge. Listen carefully. For the next 7 days, do what you say you will do. No matter how small, no matter how difficult, keep your promises to yourself. Wake up on time, complete your tasks, stay focused, no excuses, no delays, just action, and watch what happens. Because discipline is not just a habit, it's a transformation. It turns doubt into confidence. It turns weakness into strength. It turns potential into reality. This is your moment. Not someday, not later. Now. Decide who you are going to be, and then prove it through your actions every single day. Because the truth is simple. You don't become unstoppable by chance. You become unstoppable by discipline. For more video, subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.